This is Six Figure Dog Business. We are streaming it right now live from Grow Your Dog Training Business with Ty Brown. I'm Ty Brown. Welcome to the show. We're also streaming it at the same time over on e-collar technologies. We love e-collar technologies, and they're gracious enough to live stream the same training at the same time. If you're not a dog trainer that uses e-collars, that's fine. You're still going to get a ton out of this show, because this show is about marketing, sales, things like that are going to help you grow your business. And so whether you use e-collars or don't, it doesn't matter. You're going to get some great stuff out of this show. But welcome. We love doing this show. Usually as I'm doing this show, I'm focused on teaching, giving concepts here. So I'm not focused on comments below, but please feel free to write comments below. Questions or things like that, things that you're thinking, and usually later I go back in and respond and read those and stuff like that. So we're going to talk today about writing a book, not just writing a book, but by how to write a book in the next week. Because, and I know a lot of people might hear that and be like, no, I don't think that's possible. But literally in the next week, today's Monday, you could have a book next Monday. You could have a book next Monday. Seriously. Next Monday you could. Let's first talk about why you would want a book. A book is a great way to build relationships and partnerships. If you want, if you want to get in and get referrals from several vets in your area, it's awesome to have a book. It's amazing to have this book, because the book, it gives you immediate credibility. You're the only one in the area with a book, and suddenly they're looking at you differently. You're the one that came in with a book, or maybe you mailed them a book or something like that. Same thing with groomers, same thing with anybody that you're trying to create a partnership with. If you've got a book, you're suddenly far different than everybody else, than all the competition. You immediately put yourself in that spot. To clients, you look different immediately. When they see that you've got a book, and if they can hold it, and it's like a real book, suddenly you're an expert. Not that you weren't before, but suddenly they see you in more of an expert, authoritative. Don't be authoritarian, that's a bad one. But they see you in a much more authoritative role, where they see, they give you a ton of credibility and trust because you have a book. People do that. That's how we are as people. And so having a book allows you to sell so much more. A lot of people, I've done this a lot, not as much as I probably should, but a lot of people use their book as a business card. And you might be saying, well, that's an expensive business card. Maybe. I mean, you can get a book printed for $1. I've had books printed, full 100-something page books printed for 96 cents or something like that. That includes shipping from China. And so I've had, for about $1, I've had these books. You hand out that, let's say you hand out 100 business cards every month, which is most people don't. I mean, 100 business cards is probably like $5? It's not much, So you're used to spending $5 a month. Now you're handing out 100 books. Now you're spending $100 a month. Is there a huge difference between $5 and $100? No, there's not. And if there is, you've got some bigger challenges. Now, there's obviously a difference. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, if you're tight on funds. But even if you're tight on funds, there's not a huge difference between $5 and $100. But the 100 people that got it, 100 business cards went in the trash. 100 books went on the counter. Probably 10 of them got read. Not very many people read them. But because it's on the counter, because it's there, you're in their home. You're now forming part of the fabric of what they think about, because they see the book. I've been in so many homes where I see my books and I see my DVD programs, and people often are like, well, if you sell a book, aren't they just going to use that? No, the person who's going to try to train their dog with a $5 book is not the person that's going to buy. They're not either or. It's not as if somebody's, or if somebody was only willing to spend $5, well, hey, you got $5 from them, but they were never going to spend $1,500. But a lot of people will spend that $5, figure out who you are, read some of your book, and then realize this guy knows what he's talking about. We could use his help. Let's use him. And so having this book, I've written several books now, but having a book has helped us sell countless, and there's really not always a way to track it, but it's helped us sell so much training. It's ridiculous. And so if you could have one of these in a week, why wouldn't you? Of course you could. Now, let me address one more thing, because a lot of people, a lot of dog trainers think, who am I to write a book? Why should I write a book? Everything's already been written. Number one, if you think everything's been written, just quit the business. Everything hasn't been written. That's crazy. You know, what hasn't been written is your perspective on how dogs get trained. Well, I train like other people. Then let other people do the training and quit the business. If you're not doing something different and unique, why are you even doing it? Figure out how to do something different and unique. Because like I said, there's no honor in just being like, well, I'm just being another one. You know, just somebody else that trains dogs. There's no point in that. Do something different. Do something unique. Do something, be your own person. Be your own dog trainer. Don't be just like everybody else. I wrote my first book when I was 25 years old. So now, that was about 14 years ago. I had never even, I had worked for dog trainers, but I didn't even have my company yet. And so some people, in fact, a lot of people back then did say, this was before social media, obviously, this is 14, 15 years ago or whatever. This is before social media. Dog trainers, you know, I had several dog trainers reach out to me asking me like, who do you think you are writing a book? I've never even heard of you. Who are you? Why are you writing this book? You know, because they came across my book. And frankly, I didn't even answer, because what's the point? Like, I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Can you train a dog? Yeah? Good. Write a book about it. Because if you can train a dog, you automatically know more than millions of people, because there are millions of people in the United States alone, let alone all over the world, but millions of people in the United States alone who have no idea how to train a dog. So if you do, you are an expert. Are you an expert to the dog trainer who's been in the business for 45 years and has trained 40,000 dogs? Maybe not, maybe, I don't know. But maybe not. But who cares? That's one dude, or that's a handful of people. Who cares what they think? Do you have something that's unique and special enough that people are currently paying you for? All right, share it. Get it out there in a book form so that you can share your message better, so you can get in front of more people, earn more money, have more freedom, life is better, and you can do it in a week if you have this one thing. Let me talk about this one thing, and then I'm going to tell you how you can train this in a week. Or not train this, do this. How you can write this book in a week, okay? You need to have a signature program. You don't need to, but I feel it's much more important, much more impactful. It's much better if you have a signature program. So a signature program is not, you do X amount of sessions and you call it the Whiz Kids dog training program. You know, just giving it a name doesn't make it a program. You know, having a signature program is essentially saying, what are the things that every dog that I train, every single one, they have to have these skill sets. You know, whether it's obedience or manners or behavior modification or whatever, every dog I train has to have these skill sets. And then you work your way backwards and say, okay, in order to get these skill sets with the majority of dogs, what's it going to take? And now you've got your, you know, actually building a signature program takes a lot of work. You know, when I coach dog trainers on how to do this, it's hours and hours of work. But essentially, in a nutshell, that's what it is. Determine the only results I want to produce and work my way backwards to get to where here are the steps we have to take to get to that point. Now you've got a signature program. This is a promise to your marketplace. This is who you are. This is your identity. This is your special sauce. This is everything. Because in the dog training world, we don't get to distinguish ourselves with numbers very well. We can't say that we train 35% better than the next dog trainer. There is no measurement for what we do. And so the measurement for what we do is something that simply we define. And we say, look, here's what it's like to train with me. Here's the things that we get every time, and here's the process to get there. And suddenly, you're unique. You're different from having this signature program. So if you're gonna write a book, I recommend that you have a signature program. I mean, you look at like Bill Keeler, and not everyone likes Bill Keeler, William Keeler, but his books have stood the test of time. One, because they're good. I mean, you might not like him. I don't care if you do or don't, but like, frankly, millions of people have gotten very good results from it. It's good stuff. Whether or not you like corrections or don't, Bill Keeler is good stuff. Again, you might say there's better, there's worse. I don't really care. That's not what this is about. But number one, it's good. But number two, he developed a process. First you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this. And he said, and then when you get to the end, here's what your results look like. And he made it very clear. Think about how many dog trainers do that. Very few do. You look at almost every dog training book and it's about a concept. It's about, and it teaches processes in there and it teaches how to do this, that, and the other. But it's a concept of living with your dog or enjoying your dog or, I don't even know, I don't read dog training books, but I'm trying to think the last time I was at the bookstore. None of them are here's a promise and here's how you get there. It's all more conceptual and it's all more philosophy and it's all more, sometimes tons of tools and tips and ideas, but put together in a way to where it's not cohesive. It's not do this, then this, then this. And people will say, well, of course you can't because every dog's different. Really? I know every dog's different, but you're telling me that you can't figure out a way to get a dog off-leash trained and systematize that process? And now you've got a book? Or on-leash trained and systematize that process and make it fit just about any dog that might be out there? If you can't, what are you doing in your dog training business? Because you're probably doing this already, right? You're getting them to a result and you're helping dogs get there. Systematize that process. Now you've got a signature program. Have one. Do it. If you don't have a signature program, you're losing money. And why would you want to lose money? All right, so we've got the signature program. Now it's time to write the book in a week. This is really simple. Number one, write an outline. Well, there's two ways to do this, and I've done it both ways. And I prefer one way. That way's a little bit more expensive, but anyways, they both work. So number one, write an outline and then flesh out that outline. So if you've got this signature program and you've got a process to get there, you're going to write down every part of the process. Here's the first part and here's the key points. Here's the second part, here's the key points. Here's the third part, here's the key points. And then even flesh out those key points a little bit, right? And then once you've got that outline, you're almost there. Now is the writing, and the writing can be done two ways. So one way, like I said, I've done this both ways. One way, the harder way, is to lock yourself in a room for a few days and don't come out until it's done. I did this once. I did it once because I was trying to get my book done. I had barely started, but I had been talking about doing it for months and months, and I had the outline, and I'd written page 1. So basically I was at the start, right, other than an outline. And then I had this conference come up, this marketing conference that I was going to go to. So I bought the tickets. It was to Phoenix. I have the plane tickets. I have the hotel. And the last second, the conference canceled. And so I was like, oh, shoot. I can't get a refund on the plane tickets because it was days before. I can't get a refund on the plane tickets. I don't remember the hotel. I don't remember if I could get anyways. But here I am looking at it being I don't think I can get a refund on any of this. What am I supposed to do? And I'm thinking, I have that book. It's a nice hotel. Book, hotel. All right, we're gonna do it. So I think it was 2.5 or 3 days. I went down there and I wrote for 12 hours a day for those X amount of days. And the book was done. I got it done in 2 or 3 days, whatever that was. And so that's one way to get your book written. And for me, that works. I don't know if it does for you. Maybe you need to say every morning from 7 to 8, I'm going to write. But what you have to do is you have to build the time in. Otherwise, the book never gets written. It doesn't. In fact, I've got a novel that I'm working on now that I've been working on for years. And I've written another novel. And you know how in that novel I got done in 2 months. You know how I got it done in 2 months? Is because it was Christmas coming up. I started in October. It was Christmas coming up, and I wanted something sweet for my wife. And so I wrote a novel, and I used a lot of imagery or symbolism, symbolism from our relationship and our children, and I put that into the book. weird part was she didn't even realize it. She read the whole book and she liked it. But I was like, did you get the symbolism? She's like, what symbolism? Anyways, wives, right? But anyways, so I had a deadline, so I got it done. And so give yourself a deadline and give yourself a time where you're going to do it. Maybe it's all in one marathon stretch like I did, or maybe it's, I'm going to have it done in 3. Maybe you don't take a week. Maybe you say, hey, 3 months, and I'm going to write every morning for 1 hour no matter what, and that's on my calendar, and it doesn't get moved for anything. Whatever it is, you have to give yourself that box. Because like I say, I'm writing a novel right now, and I've been working on it for years, and it's like, it's going to be good. It's going to be very good. Like, Hollywood's going to come to me and want this for a movie, but it's that good. But like, I'm not finishing it, and I've been working on it for years because I haven't given myself I haven't dedicated the time to it. I'll write a little bit, I'll do some outline, I'll come back to it, write a little bit. And like, I'm in love with this book. I'm in love with this story that I'm writing, and I'm not getting it done. And frankly, I'm so busy right now that it's a novel, it's not a money-making thing, although it will be when it's a blockbuster. And so like, I'm like, well, I'm so busy with my business, I'll put that off. But I guess when I am ready, I'm going to schedule the time, because we schedule the time for the things that we care about. But give yourself a time limit and just do it. People talk about writer's block. Writer's block doesn't exist when you just do it. I mean, you might have moments where you're trying to write something, but if you just say, I'm going to write, and you write, it happens. And so that's one way to do it. Another way to do it, which I've done, is easier and faster, far faster than several hours, or than spending 3 days in a hotel room. It's easier, faster, just going to cost you a little bit more. And so here's the way to do it. Talk into a recorder. Every phone now has an app where you can do this. So you've got your outline, you've got everything that you need to do. If you're basing off of your signature program, what you're going to say are the things that you say to your clients every time you meet with them. And so it's not something you're going to have to study and this and that. You just got to pretend you're in front of the client and speak to them and say, okay, we're going to work on loose leash walking, and here's how we do it. And you're going to say the same things that you say to your client. And you say them into the tape recorder, or not tape recorder, your phone. This is not 1992. You're going to say them into your phone. You're going to record them. And then you're going to upload them. Upload them, you can do a couple things. Rev.com, REV.com is my favorite one. It's a touch more expensive than others, but it's super fast turnaround, and it's super accurate and great. It's $1 a minute. And so what's the math on this? Like, let's say that you speak, most people, if they're speaking normal, speak 125, 150 words a minute. Let's say you're a little bit more deliberate. As you're doing this, you speak a little bit slower, for example, just as an example. So let's say you're doing 100 words a minute. So we're at 100. And let's say you speak for 6 hours. So 360 minutes, right? So 360 minutes. What is that? So that's 36,000 words. 36,000 words. So 36,000, what you kind of want to plan on is about like 200 words per like 6x9. And so let's see. So 2 into 360, am I doing this right? So 36,000 words. I think I did my math wrong. So if we got 36,000 words from speaking for 6 hours, you probably have a short book. I think one of my books was 80,000 words. I'm actually not even remembering right now. Do your own math, because right now my brain's in a bit of a fog. Do your own math. Because I'm actually streaming from my phone right now, and that's where I would normally be doing my calculator. So do your own bloody math. But anyways, if you speak for 6 hours, you'll have a decent book. If you speak for 10 hours or something like that, if you speak for like a whole day, you'll be the most tired you've ever been, but you'll have your book. So you give that to rev.com. You give the audio file to rev.com. They'll bring it back to you within, I think their standard thing is like 24 hours. But anyways, they'll get it back to you pretty quick. You take that. Now that's not a book yet, but it's everything you need in a book. go find an editor. You can edit it yourself if you'd like. Me personally, once I get it out there, I don't want to look at it. I'm so tired of it, I just don't even want to look at it. Get yourself an editor over on Upwork, Upwork.com. Find an editor over there. You can probably get something like that for $200-300. So you paid Rev.com $360. You paid your editor $300. So now it's $600, $500, something like that, and you've got a bloody book. You've got a book. Now you just got to print it. You can print it on Amazon. Has a service. What's it called? I've always gotten mine printed in China, and I've got a book manufacturer over there that I've worked with several times that I've printed my books in China. But I've also done one through my novel. I did through Clear. I can't even remember, but you can Google it. Amazon has a book fulfillment service. You can just upload it there, and then you can get it's print on demand is what you can do. And so you can put it on Amazon, you can print it on demand, you can send it out to your clients. And so that would be, if you just want to have, I wouldn't do those as business cards, because those are going to cost you $4 or $5, maybe $2 or $3. But if you get them printed in China, you can get 1,000 or 2,000 of them for $1 a piece. And then you can hand them out like candy. Because like I say, let's say you're giving out $2,000 worth per year. If you give out 2,000 books a year, you think you're gonna get some clients from that? I think you will. So here's how you can write a book. Get an outline, spit it out, get it edited. Now go get it printed. There's so many ways to get it printed now. Like I say, Amazon owns one. You can go to China, get it printed. You can Google this and you can find places that are gonna print it for fairly inexpensive. And we're talking a 6x9 type paperback book is what we're talking about. If you want to go do like the crazy big books, go nuts with all this crazy editing, and that's awesome. There's actually nothing wrong with that. But if you're looking to have a book to make you money, you don't need that, because none of the money comes from the book. Nobody makes money off of a book unless you're selling millions of them. People make money off of what the book brings them. The book brings them opportunities, sales, new relationships, stuff like that. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, do a book. Now, and I would be remiss here if I didn't mention, if you're looking for help with anything in your business, down below here is a link where you can schedule a call with me. We'll talk about your business. At the end of it, you'll have gotten some insight into your business, and I will probably tell you about our coaching program if I think we can help you get to the next level with your business. With our coaching program. So thanks for watching. Watch next Monday. We'll talk to you soon.